we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States. What was going on in the mindset of those founding fathers when they sat there at the Pennsylvania Convention in 1787, over 247 years ago, from 1788, when the Constitution was actually signed and adopted and ratified by the United States. I'm often to think about President Abraham Lincoln when he dedicated the National Cemetery for soldiers in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, when he addressed them at Gettysburg. And he said, 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth upon this nation a new 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. And as we look at what's going on now in the news, we look at what's has been going on historically. When we look at Project 2025, and we look at the trajectory of where we're going in this government, we're headed to a place of doom and damnation. There has to be a change. I'm reminded of a man named a great man by the name of Dr. Martin Luther King. And when he talked about in his speech, and he talked about what he foresee, right? He said, I have a dream, I have a dream, I have a dream. And today I want to share with you that I too have a dream, and that is because the things that our founding fathers have put in place are not everlasting. These things are being dismantled every day, and we see this foolishness is going on in the media, on social media. We see these things that's going on in the streets in our community. We see the social and racial divide, the hatred, and all things that are going on at an enormously alarming rate today. There's got to be a change. One of the things that we can do is that we can write our own family constitution. And that family constitution is called a revocable living trust, to be able to have something in place that cannot be dismantled, something that cannot get caught up by the government's fickle fingers of fate. And the fickle finger of fate is when they come in, they swoop down, and they try to steal the things that you have, the things that you work very hard for, the things that you sacrifice for, the things that you have given sweat and tears and blood, and you work your fingers to the bone. Things that not only you work your fingers to the bone, but things that your family, your mother, your father, your grandparents, your great-grandparents have passed down heirlooms through the family. And now it is landed in your hand. What are you going to do to maintain that? Do you have real estate that your family has left you? And you have it divided between you and other members of the family or the community? What happens to your part when you shut your eyes and take your final rest? Do you have provisions in place already? Have you met those progenitors that's going to ensure that this stuff stays in your family, that these assets stays in your family? Or are you going to leave it to chance and leave it to probate and whatever happens? In a similar tone to the late, great Dr. Martin Luther King, I have a dream. I have a dream that one day every family will sit down at their dinner table or sit down in their family rooms and have the tough discussions with mom and dad and with the children, with the siblings, distant relatives if need be, or close relatives. Do you have a trust? Do we have a trust? Do we trust in each other? In God I trust, but all others needs to have an estate plan. If you don't have a plan to succeed, then you have a plan to fail. If you don't have an estate plan, then you still have a plan. It's called the government's plan. The government's plan is whatever you have left, it has to go through probate. If you have a will, somebody said, where there's a will, there's a way. That may be true, but a will is a way into probate court. If you don't want to go into probate court, then I suggest that if you will, that you would sit down with your family and talk to them about structuring what is called a revocable living trust. And with the revocable living trust, then you know that your assets are going to go to where you want them to be and not to where you don't want them to be. What am I saying here? I'm saying if you don't have a trust, then you better trust me that your trust lies on the government. The government doesn't care about you, doesn't care about your assets. It doesn't care that you're too busy. Because one day, even though you're so busy, even though you have so many things got going on in your life, it's going to come a date and come on time when you're going to have to lay down and you're going to have to leave all of those cares to somebody else. Do you really love the people that you claim, that you proclaim to love? Do you love them so much that you won't hurt them? Well, I submit to you today, my sister and brother, that in probate court, it is a horrible place. It is an evil place. It is a mean place. It is very public. It's very costly. And nobody cares about anything from you or about you. They only care about what they can get. And if the only thing you have is a will and you don't have a trust, I don't care if it's a last will and a testament. I don't care if it's a first will. I don't care if it's a pour-over will. If you don't have a trust, you had better believe me, and just as sure as mama was married to my daddy and they damn sure wasn't shacking, I'm here to tell you the truth from the bottom of my heart, that when you come to that place and you sit down or you lay down and you are no longer able to handle these things, and somebody has to handle these things for you, then they're going to appoint people through the court, these different executioners and different people that are executors, that are going to execute your whole will, is that it has to go through probate. And anything that goes through probate, even though it's a will, it may not go through it for an extended period of time, but it's going to go through probate. It could take a month, it could take 3 months, it could take 6 months. It's a lot shorter than when you don't have one, but I'm trying to tell you a quicker way to get there. And that is to have a revocable living trust. I can sit there and I can talk till I'm blue in the face. You can continue to procrastinate if you want to, but it don't take nothing but you go into the store to pick up some groceries, and on your way back home, you get stricken by another car. And then it lands you in the hospital, now you're in comatose, and you can't answer for yourself. Or it may align you with the cemetery, and you can't do this, and now you have children back home, or you have relatives that these people now they have to fight for this stuff, and a lot of it is going to be lost. And say you have an estate plan, have an estate right now that is worth $1 million, and you have 4 beneficiaries that you could have given that to. You have a spouse and 3 children that you have left behind that you could have given that to. But now they're going to have to go, and that $1 million is no longer $1 million. They could have just got that $1 million and split that between themselves, $250,000 apiece. And by the time they go through probate court, anywhere from 5, 8 to 10%, and depending on the size of your assets. Think about it. If you were an attorney yourself, you're an attorney, and you're getting paid a portion of this $1 million, how big of this pie do you want? Are you going to work for just, say, okay, well, the family over here is struggling, and I'm going to just take $5,000? No. When you can take $200,000 or you can take $20,000, tell me what you would do. And so when you look at your own situation and when you look at your own self, knowing what you would do, what makes you think they're any better than you are? And the truth of the matter is that lawyers are greedy. They've been in law school for a long time. They got a lot of loans. They did a lot of work. And they know it's a way to make money and to grow wealth. And they know about living trust. They understand, and you better believe that they have those things in place, because anything can happen. I was just watching the other day on 48 Hours where a judge now, had been involved in a case, and he didn't want some stuff to come back on him, and he shot and killed the female district attorney. And the same people that he worked with, the lawyers, the police department, the sheriff's department, now they are no longer his friends and colleagues. These are people now that's treating him like an inmate, like they would some person that was never involved in the legal system. What I'm trying to tell you, sister and brother, before I leave, is that nobody cares about you the way you care about you. Nobody loves your children the way you love your children. I know you get busy. I know you have the vicissitudes of life are coming upon you. I know that you are being ebbed and flowing in all of these directions. You're being pushed. You're being pushed and pulled in all these different directions. But at the end of the day, if you don't have that paperwork, I'm telling you, you're going to be in big trouble, okay? You're going to be in very, very big trouble. You die, you pass away, your family are going to have to deal with probate. Tell me, do you really want your family to go through probate? I didn't think so. So, here's what you're going to do, right? Not what you want to do. Not, I've been talking about this for weeks. No, procrastination is no good. That procrastination, that is a sure dream killer. Procrastination kills dreams. Procrastination stops you in your tracks. Do not procrastinate any longer. What you're going to do now is that you're going to reach out to me. I'm going to get you connected with your living trust. I'm going to show you how to protect your family, protect the values, okay? And not just when you pass away, but a trust might be there to save you in the event that you're in a coma, because it also speaks to your healthcare professionals. It lets them know, hey, don't pull the plug just yet. Try a little harder, or it may decide to, whatever you want to be done, right? That doctor, the hospital is looking at your money. You know that we live in a world, in a country rather, in the United States, where being sick is how people make money. That's why they put the stuff in your food. That's why they're misdiagnosing you on purpose. That's why a lot of people are dying prematurely, because they can take body parts and sell those parts. And so they don't go out of their way. Your body is worth money. Your sickness is worth money. We must take stock of ourselves. We must take charge of our own lives and do those things that are going to keep us alive longer, and also keep us healthier, so that we have a better life. Living a long time is no good if you're in vegetative state. Living is not all that fun being in a wheelchair. You don't want to go away, I get it. But if you had it to choose, would you choose to be a quadriplegic? I don't think so. You want to be able to get up and have mobility and do things on your own, to travel, transfer your body, dress, go out and play, maybe go to the gym, go to church, go to conventions, or even work on a job or continue to run a business. These are things that we really enjoy in life. And these are things that can happen if we take care of ourselves and that we put the progenitors in place, so that in our longevity, as one old man said to me, he said, son, it's not how long you make it, but it's how you make it long. I hope that this video has touched somebody's mind or your heart, and that this creates a call to action. That's what this video is. It's a call to action for you to get up, get out, and get something called a revocable living trust. Make sure your estate It's all playing out and all protected. Meanwhile, content in J. Cole's words, love yours. I look forward to sharing with you on many, many more videos to come just like this. Meanwhile, take care of yourself and each other.